Water, water everywhere and not a drop to drink. So, part of my equipment discussion at the party last night was like, hey, we're playing it fast and loose, but actually you guys stayed here way more several days than anticipated, and that well was dry, and you're on a salt flat. There is no water. So, next time, you guys are all parched when you get back. It is a cold environment. The salt flats are not desert-like, but I am having movement in it, so it's a little bit more of a problem to cross it. You leave your footprints in it, crusty, just stepping. Maybe I'm exaggerating the salt flat. It's one of the few places I've not actually been to just observe and think about. I'll have to read up on salt flats and how that would affect movement and everything else. Currently I'm reading up on forests. So, how long do you rule that a water skin lasts? We don't think about it. You have a water skin, it's got water, ergo, you're covered. But you drink the water, don't you? I think we only really address it when we're in a drought-like area or a desert, and then suddenly you have to drink more water that you're never tracking beforehand. So I just made an offhand ruling real quick. Hey, a water flask lasts a day. But if you're in a regular area, going along roads and stuff, every town has a public accessible well. There are streams and creeks that you cross where you can refill your water skin in the course of a regular day, unless the situation changes, and then I will inform you as the DM that, hey, you've not been able to refill your water today. So my characters are starting to carry a few more extra flasks of water on them. And one says, we got a donkey. Let's just put more water on the donkey. It's a provision donkey. And then I made another ruling. If you have potable water sources, then that will be 1 gallon is 2 days per person. I know you can stretch that out further, but we're not wearing armor and going on a 10-mile hump every day, are we? We're not walking everywhere in full armor. All right. They make you drink water when you're infantry. They set up water buffaloes in training, and they make you drink water. And if you're caught not drinking, they will get on your butt. Right. So, this is one of those overlooked things, but I think it's adding a little bit more depth for the guys. And brine catches or supply depots and stuff like that are probably going to be higher on their priority list once they start moving. But now they're moving in different directions, but their goal is to get up onto Highfield. I'm curious what they're going to do once they get up there and get back, if they're going to do extra stuff. We'll see. You never know with players, man. You never know. So, usually it's like a few minutes. I think I went to Dragon's Foot. I use that as a go-to. Dragon's Foot and Dragon Magazine are still references I use to this day as a Dungeon Master. Dragon's Foot Forum has always been great, and Dragon Magazine back in the day was awesome. I read all the forums. I read every Dragon Magazine up until the 3E era. Then I stopped giving a shit. So the classic ones, I have them all in PDF. At one time I had them all. I had to liquidate my physical copies and my physical copies of all my TSR stuff for financial reasons. And now I'll never be able to get all those originals back. And I wouldn't want to, because they won't be the ones that I got from Walden Books. And from that bookstore over in Ironton where it had it was a newsstand, and then they had in the back corner all the hardbacks. That's where I got my Fiend Folio. It was interesting. I think the guy that run the place or owned it played. There was no reason to have that. He could not compete with these other places. It was right next, but they always had Dragon Magazine too. And after And after all the books went away, it still petered on for several years before I think the old guy died, and it went the way that everything bookstores and newsstands have. Love those places. I've toyed with the idea of doing something downtown, but don't like the concept of bankruptcy. But anyway, water. What you can do to keep your characters on your toe is right before a session, audit their character sheets, flip through their character sheets, see who's carrying what, and see if they actually have enough food for the adventure. And if they decide to say, we're taking 2 days to camp here for 2 days, then you might want to start putting, you need to mark off 2 days worth of food. You have access to a spring nearby, so don't worry about the water. But those attention to details are, how would they say, your ego players will say that builds immersion. It's a game. It's a hobby. We all play a little different, and don't get all weird on me. It's just a game, because we spend a lot of our game time talking and cracking up and just being buds. I have a group right now. I wish I could have a table game, but we're scattered to the winds. I think it'd be a great table group, cook and everything. But water, munitions, and feasting in games. These are things you should keep track of. Encourage your players to pay attention to. I have players who live on iron rations and never actually buy a meal at the end. They only buy alcohol at the end. But you should one day just go, okay, you all got scurvy and everybody's teeth are terrible. Subtract 2 charisma. What? You haven't ate a piece of fruit in years. Man does not lead on salted tack alone. But anyway, I'd share about that. Talk about water skins and wine skins. Water skin, 1 per day. 1 gallon equals 2 days per person. So barrels and tunes that you can put onto a donkey or a cart suddenly become really kind of handy. Why not have it? Me and my buddy Ron, we played these dwarves, and we were the Beer Fist clan for the longest time. We had I designed these things. I called them shield steins, and they were these oversized mugs with a buckler on the hand which you could drink out of, and they would function as a shield. But we carried carts of alcohol around and water, because I guess you couldn't live on the alcohol 100%, but you can. That's what grog and ale is for, is watered down low alcohol stuff, because they actually drank more alcohol in our past when water was easily contaminated. And there's another hook. If you're in an area where you have well poisoners, and then your players can't trust the water, they're going to be dehydrated, which is going to put them on a minuses to stat rolls, saving throws, attack rolls, whatever. So a nefarious group of a disease cult, or just a cult, or douchebags who poison wells, could make everything in your game thrown off, because then you're questioning, you have to go out of your way to get water or only be drinking alcohol, which can lead to more dehydration issues. So yeah, something to consider. I just had an idea for my game. They're going to hate me. But anyway, later, y'all.